all-new Dr. Phil. Her daughter is pregnant and in danger.
She doesn't realize this is going to kill her.
So you threatened to push her down the stairs?
Because you are going to have an abortion.
No, I wasn't.
Mom's desperate.
Did you threaten to stab her in the stomach?
I didn't think she would survive this pregnancy. I still don't.
With only 3 months until delivery.
I can't take care of this child.
You say if your daughter dies, you would place the child up for adoption.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Christina says her 19-year-old daughter, Samantha, is 6 months pregnant and worries her daughter and unborn grandchild could both potentially die due to Samantha's negligence. She claims Samantha has been living an out-of-control life for years, cutting school, smoking, and refusing to take her medicine. Now, according to Christina, Samantha should have never gotten pregnant to begin with, but she has been chasing boys and men online since she was 10 years old, desperate for attention and love, which eventually resulted with Samantha getting pregnant last year after a one-night stand with a 33-year-old man. Now, Christina says she is furious and is done with her daughter, who she's listed as Sam Loser in her phone contact list, before eventually reaching out to me for help.
My 19-year-old pregnant daughter, Samantha, is on a path to destroy herself and her baby. Samantha has type 1 diabetes. She had a one-night stand, and now she's pregnant. Because Samantha has not cared for herself, we are in fear that this baby is going to be born with severe disabilities.
Are you thinking about who's going to raise this child? Because guess who's going to get stuck with it?
She eats whatever she wants, and she doesn't take her insulin regularly. Samantha has slept with more men than I have, and I'm 50. She's been online talking to men since she was 10 years old. Samantha's baby daddy is 14 years older than she is. She's 19, and baby daddy is 33.
You have no clue what you're about to face in the next 3 months.
Sam takes zero responsibility. She failed the 11th grade, quit high school. I work 7 days a week to make sure I have the money to pay for her insulin, food that she needs. I'm her chauffeur. I'm her cook. I'm her housekeeper.
Do you pay now to live with me?
No. I need to save up money somehow for a child that's on the way that I can't afford.
That you should never have gotten pregnant with.
When I found out that she was pregnant 6 months ago, she had to go. I told her, get out. The endocrinologist has told Samantha that she's got the highest risk of death within the next 6 months because the baby takes so much out of her. When Samantha's sugars go over 400, it's almost like she's drunk. If I've had a couple glasses of wine, it's like two drunks fighting in a bar. She is 100% in denial. Samantha is not going to be able to take care of this child. If Samantha and this baby survive, then I'm going to be stuck raising this baby. I will not raise this child.
Okay, Christina, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Because you're in a situation that is complex. It is very layered, and this is something that could end up with a child being seriously impaired or dead, and the mother of that child being dead as well.
They could both die, yes.
And I know I hear you say it, but have you really embraced the gravity of what that really means?
I have embraced the gravity. I have embraced the gravity over my daughter's possible death for the last 10 years with everything that I have been through with her, all the ICU visits, all the doctor's visits, all the debriding of her legs, all the neuropathy, but now adding a baby to it. My daughter is a juvenile type 1 diabetic. She is non-compliant. She checks her sugar when she feels like it. And when she does check her sugar, she doesn't properly clean her finger with an alcohol pad. She doesn't change the lancet. She carries MRSA. She's just a hot mess when it comes to this disease. She doesn't think it's serious.
Does she intellectually know the risk factors, the risk level that she's at with this disease?
She knows the risk levels, but she has said to me on more times than I can even count that she'd rather have had cancer and die than to live with diabetes. I hate to say suck it up, but you can live with this. It just takes some responsibility to monitor it. But once she turned 13, I had no control of her anymore. She went out of control, her diabetes went out of control, and then the monster appeared.
Well, is it possible that you being, I just have to say, kind of a helicopter mom in those early years and being so vigilant and so diligent in making sure that she was compliant, that you became her cue for coping, her cue for doing these things, and then when she rebels a little and is left to her own devices, that she doesn't have the skills. She arrested her development at that early age, because right now she's behaving like an adolescent. She's behaving like a 10, 11, 12-year-old child.
Exactly. Now, I don't think I was a helicopter mom because I was always busy. I worked. She refused to listen to all the doctors. I have taken her to the best doctors, the best.
But you did an awful lot for her.
For the first 5, 6 years while she was still, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Why is she not complying?
Because she wants to be like everybody else. She wants to eat what she wants to eat. She does not want to have to take shots. The fact that she can't feel her feet. The fact that she has got horrible ulcers and scars all over her legs. The fact that we were just in the emergency room last night, the night before, she doesn't realize that this is going to kill her.
I don't practice anymore. I don't see patients, so don't call. Because the answer is not no, it's hell no. But I did for a good while in different areas of psychology, and one of them was behavioral medicine. And that dealt a lot with chronic disease management, and I worked with the diabetes population extensively. So I have a lot of vertical knowledge in this area. And when you have someone that is non-compliant, it's not if, it's when you're going to start seeing organ failure. You're going to start seeing kidney failure. You're going to start seeing your eyes fail and go blind. It is the number one cause for lower extremity amputation.
I know that.
And these are things that aren't, this could happen.
No,
these are things that are going to happen.
I know that. I buried my mother with no legs. I know that. She does not want to accept that. But when she gets, I would love for her to be on her own. She keeps telling me, and I'm an adult.
But you get that DCFS is going to see this, and when that baby is born in that delivery room, they're going to be there. They will not let her keep this baby if they've got a brain in their head. And I've worked with DCFS and all the child welfare programs. If they allowed her to keep this child, that would be negligence to the highest order.
I understand that, and I hate to sound cold, but that would be the best thing for this child, especially with the health problems it's going to face. I cannot take care of this child. There is absolutely no way I can take care of this child.
So you say if your daughter dies, that you would place the child for adoption?
Yes.
Well, we're going to meet Samantha, who says the real issue here is that her mother, Christina, was drunk and neglectful while she was growing up. We'll talk to Samantha about that next.
When I told my mom I was pregnant, she threatened to push me down the stairs and stab me in the stomach.
Go to your room, get out of my face.
I don't know what my parenting plan is.
And later, what mother says to their child, I'm going to stab you in the stomach and push you down the stairs?
One that was totally pissed, that has had enough.
Samantha's baby daddy gave her a cell phone. When she called me from that number, I saved the number as Sam, and then I put loser. I told her she was to give that phone back and have no contact with him. But she continued to text him, so when I got that phone away from her, I smashed it.
Christina claims raising her out-of-control daughter Samantha was a very constant struggle, but nothing, I mean nothing, prepared her for the shock of finding out that her 19-year-old daughter was pregnant by a 33-year-old man. Now, Samantha says she just wants the support of her mother, who she claims was always too busy or drunk to take care of her growing up.
My mother is very negative. She has to dominate and control everything I do. In many ways, she's a crappy mom. My mom's drinking is a problem. She doesn't understand after one glass of wine, she's done. All of the fights happen when she's drank either a glass or a bottle of wine. It's the past 16 years.
16 years? I didn't start drinking
You've
until we
been
moved
drinking.
to Georgia. If I want to go home and have a glass of wine,
I understand that.
Go to your room, get out of my face.
She calls me names. Poor tramp. She's told me before that I'll never amount to anything but a stripper. I met the baby's father on the online dating app. One thing led to another, and I got pregnant. I enjoyed our one-night stand. I would have enjoyed it more if that did not happen. I'm 19, but the baby's father is 33. When I told my mom I was pregnant, she threatened to push me down the stairs and stab me in the stomach. That made me so scared. I fear my child will be born to physical complications due to my diabetes. I considered a medical abortion because I didn't know what the chances were. But after I felt the baby and the doctors told me that the heart looks fine, so I chose to keep it. I don't know what my parenting plan is. Very much I am stuck between a rock and a hard place. I need my mom's help, but I'm worried how she'll parent my child because she's parented me in the wrong way.
It sucks being an adult, doesn't it?
I'm worried she'll be drunk around my child. I wish my mom would back off. I want to strangle the hell out of her and never see her again.
Tell me what you know about the complications, the risks associated with type 1 diabetes.
The risk of my eyesight can go bad, loss of limbs, never be, I know all of it.
Are you smoking?
Smoking? Not anymore.
When did you stop?
I stopped almost a month and a half ago. But did I smoke before? Yes, I did.
Okay, you're 6 months pregnant.
Yes.
And you stopped smoking a month and a half ago.
Yes.
Drink?
No. Oh, 1 glass of red wine. 1 glass.
How old are you?
Does it matter?
You're a minor. You're 19.
Your mother says that you are non-compliant with the medical regimen, that it's been outlined for you, told you what you need to do, how you need to do it, but that you just simply don't.
Her drinking has gotten to the point to where it led me to get...
Okay, we're not talking about her drinking, we're talking about your pregnancy. Look, life's not fair. She may be the biggest bitch ever walked the face of the earth, but you're still responsible for this baby.
I've been taking care of myself ever since I found out I was pregnant. I've been doing fine.
Is that true?
That's a lie. She didn't go to doctor's appointments because baby daddy wouldn't let her go.
He wouldn't let me. I was in a bad situation.
So taking care of yourself means that you go to doctor's appointments no matter what. Taking care of yourself means that you get away from him and you go back to where
It's kind of hard when you kicked me out and he was the only place I had to go.
You ran back to him. You had
because you
choice.
told me I was going to get an abortion. You told me you were going to push me downstairs, that you were going to stab me in the stomach.
Samantha, are you in a condition to have a baby? Like, really, seriously, how can you afford a baby? You came back on my doorsteps. You moved out. You told me you were a big girl, and then you showed back up at my house 6 weeks later, promising to change, and then you'll go out and get pregnant?
Did you threaten to push her down the stairs?
Yes, I did.
Why?
She was drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
You've been
because
drinking
you
that
needed,
night.
because you weren't going to have an abortion.
No, I wasn't.
So you threatened to push her down the stairs?
Yes.
Were you going to do it?
No. I don't think she has listened to what the doctors have said. And then you come back pregnant. Yes, I was a little pissed.
She wanted me to have an abortion from the get-go. I couldn't do that.
And later,
there's really no way to sugarcoat what's at stake here with Samantha's unborn child.
Sam acts like life is a joke. She can't even take care of her cat. She plans on raising this child and taking care of it in my home that she's not even on the lease.
I am afraid that she'll kick me and my child out of the house. I have nowhere else to go. I guess I'll have to find a cardboard box.
well, Christina is at odds with her 19-year-old daughter Samantha, who she believes should have never gotten pregnant by anybody, certainly not by a 33-year-old man that she hardly knew. It upset Christina to the point that she threatened to push her down the stairs. Did you threaten to stab her in the stomach?
Possibly. Yes, she had to get. I did not want her having this child. I knew that the consequences were either going to kill her. I didn't think she would survive this pregnancy. I still don't. I don't think she has listened to what the doctors that we have been to have said.
And you thought the remedy for that would be to stab her in the stomach and push her down the stairs?
I said something I shouldn't have said.
What mother says to their child, I'm going to stab you in the stomach, push you down the stairs?
One that was totally pissed, that has had enough of the last 6 years of her using me as a doormat, her being out of control, her being...
So you're justifying it?
I'm not justifying it. I admit I was wrong by what I said. But when you come back into my home after you get locked up for doing something you shouldn't have done, and you move out and tell me that you're going to have a better life with your friends, and then they throw you out, show up on my doorstep promising me to do everything that you swore you would do because you're an adult, and then you come back pregnant. Yes, I was a little pissed. I was beyond pissed.
I made one huge mistake. But she wanted me to have an abortion from the get-go. I couldn't do that.
What burden will you carry if you lose her in the delivery room?
If I it'll kill me to lose her. It'll kill me to lose her, period. Whether it be the delivery room, whether it been all those times that she's been in the intensive care unit, it'll kill me. It'll kill me because all I've done was fight to keep her alive all these years.
No, that's one of the things you've done. And I acknowledge that. Look, as I said, this is what I did. And I understand you've made a lot of sacrifices. You've invested a lot of energy. You've done a lot of right things. But that's not the only thing you've done. You said, oh, that's all I've ever done is try to keep her alive. No, you've also used her to vent. You vent your anger. You vent all of the hostility and bitterness at the unfairness of having to deal with this.
Yes, I did.
You deal with it through anger and bitterness and vitriol. You deal with it through denial. And you are having symptoms in your medical records. They're having to debride ulcers on your legs.
That's back then.
I understand.
These have closed.
Well, I want to take a look at a list of your medical issues since getting pregnant.
Okay.
Age 19. Pre-existing type 1 diabetes with hyperglycemia during pregnancy. Second trimester, age 19, smoking, complicating pregnancy. Second trimester, still 19, caudal regression syndrome. What do you know about that?
My baby won't be able to walk.
And a fetal heart disorder.
Well, they told me that the heart was okay for right now.
Let's take a quick break and you get the floor next. Christina's best friend, Ingrid, is here. When the producing team initially talked to Ingrid, she claimed she supported Christina. But an incident happened a few days ago at the hotel that caused Ingrid to perhaps change her mind. I'm going to ask her about that when we come back.
Samantha is very immature. She needs to get a clue. That's what gets me mad. I told Christina to throw Samantha out and cut her off.
Christina's best friend Ingrid says the main issue here is that Samantha has always been looking for attention, but Christina was never really around. Let's take a look.
Samantha does not seem to grasp that she might be killing herself and her baby. Samantha is definitely not taking care of herself. That's what gets me mad. She's very immature. Samantha's 19 years old, but she has the mentality of an 11-year-old. She needs to get a clue.
So how are you going to survive on your own without me? Tell me that.
I'm not.
How are you going to get your high school diploma? How are you going to get everything that you need to get to my point in life?
There's always been tension between Christina and Samantha. Now, with the baby on the way, the tension has escalated. Christina has a hard time controlling Samantha and getting her to take her insulin. Samantha curses at Christina. She's so disrespectful to her. They've even gotten into fistfights. Christina does everything for Samantha. Christina works 7 days a week to pay the bills, and on top of her busy schedule, she still brings Samantha to all her doctor appointments. appointments. I told Christina to throw Samantha out and cut her off.
Well, that's what Ingrid told us initially, but she claims she has changed her mind after a particular incident. On their second night here, producers received a call from Samantha, who claimed her mom locked her out of their shared hotel room. Now, a Dr. Phil staffer immediately went to the hotel. Here's what ensued.
Open the door. Tonight was a living hell. We got back and my mom ended up kicking me out.
I said to Sam, I said, she's really drunk. She was slurring. And then she just like had an attitude calling us.
She threw a water bottle at me, threw her pill bottle case at me, told me to get the out.
You locked the bar. She could not get in. I'm stressed out.
I didn't have my clothes, nothing. She ended up letting me in just to get my things, but I had to get a new room. It went crazy.
Well, Ingrid, you're close to both of these folks, right?
I am. Christina's my best friend.
What's going on here?
Samantha is just very rebellious with Christina. I know Christina has her moments. You know, we all fight and stuff, but they take it.
Okay, but you're an adult now. Who are you rebelling against now?
I'm not rebellious anymore.
Well, there's a medical regimen that you're to follow, and you're not following it.
But I do. I check my sugar 8 times a day. I'm more concerned about this child than anything else now. When I found out I was pregnant, that was the day that I started taking care of myself more than anything.
That's a lie.
So at this point, you could not make a list of change-worthy behaviors.
I want her to understand the severity of this disease. I don't want her to go blind. I don't want her to go on dialysis. I don't want her to have her legs amputated.
Are there behaviors that you see that you can change to facilitate that?
She stresses me out, and I admit, I'm not going to lie. When I get stressed out, when I come home from a long day at work, I enjoy to have a glass of wine and just relax. She's 19. I would really like to have my children out of my home on their own and living a productive life.
I'd like to have hair.
Microblading. We can make you hair.
But life's not fair. Life's a bitch.
I know that better than anybody. Trust me.
I mean, it's tough. This is not fair. I hate that you have this disease. I hate that you're going through this. But you guys are just sabotaging each other right and left. Christina says she fears Samantha's baby will be disabled due to prenatal neglect. So we sent Samantha to get an ultrasound. We wanted her to get the scan, and we're going to reveal those results after the break.
We're looking at the baby's heart now.
I like hearing the heartbeat because it makes me feel happy. I have no respect for my mother. It is a love-hate relationship. Right now, the hate is overpowering the love. The only time she ever told me she loved me was when she was drinking, when she was passing out to go to sleep.
We're talking to 19-year-old Samantha, who is currently 6 months pregnant, due in June, and says she wants her mother, Christina, to be supportive. Look, I believe that 50% of the solution to any problem lies in defining it. We need to figure out where you are, and we need to do whatever we can to close the gap as quickly as we possibly can for your baby. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Do you agree with that?
I agree.
I arranged for Samantha to get an ultrasound scan with Dr. David Adut. He is an OB/GYN in Burbank, California.
Today, I'm here to see Dr. Adut to get an ultrasound done to see the health of my child.
Hi, Samantha.
Hi.
I'm Dr. Adut. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So right now, I'm kind of getting a 2D image of the baby and how the baby's positioned.
Okay.
We're looking at the baby's heart now on a 2D image. We're hearing a recording of the baby's heart.
I like hearing the heartbeat because it makes me feel happy.
Here's a very good view of the spine. And here we do see nice straight line right about just below the lumbar. Now I'm looking at the extremities, but I'm having a hard time telling exactly what the sex of the baby is, partially because of position. This is the skull we're looking at. So I just switched to a 3D, 4D image to see if we can get a picture of the face. But the baby's head's all the way down in the pelvis, and it's hard to contrast from the pelvic bones. Here's the knee, here's the thigh, and I'm going to try to follow that down to the feet. The right side of the extremity is hard to see, and here's the baby's hand saying hello to us. So some of these images, I'm going to go ahead and review them and get back to you about some of the results, okay?
Thank you.
After examining Samantha today, I feel that we have more information to allow Samantha to better understand in order for her to be better prepared for the birth of her child.
Well, please welcome my good friend, Dr. Travis Stork, the host of the Emmy Award-winning show, The Doctors. He's joining us because I wanted an expert mind to interpret and analyze the results of Samantha's ultrasound. And Travis, you've done that, correct?
Dr. Duke was kind enough to send along some ultrasound images and also give his thoughts on what he was seeing. Mm-hmm. If we pull up the image, there's really no way to sugarcoat what's at stake here with Samantha's unborn child. Dr. Duke was doing the ultrasound, and if you look at the spine and follow it, the lower spine does not extend all the way to the tailbone like you would normally hope or expect, which may signify caudal regression syndrome, which I know you've heard that term, but that's when the lower spine does not develop appropriately. That may mean that the baby is unable to walk or use its legs. It can also be associated with lower extremity deformities. Dr. Dude also sent along images of the leg, and if you look closely, the image on the right up there, the lower leg where that red circle is, the bony development of that lower leg is not equivalent to the other bones in the body, which suggests that there very well may be some deformities in the lower legs. This is, again, one of those things where until a baby is born, you can never say with certainty what is going on. It's heartbreaking, and I've been sitting here in the audience listening to your story, and as a physician, as a human being, I am literally heartbroken. I don't want to ever imply cause-effect. Caudal regression syndrome can happen randomly. It occurs 1 in every 25,000 births. There is an association with diabetes in the mother.
All she could do right now is be 100% compliant, to get with an OBGYN, get on an aggressive program of support, whether it's biochemical support, hormonally, biochemically, or otherwise, and do everything you can possibly do from this point forward.
Correct.
Now that we know the ultrasound scan results, where do they all go from here? Well, we need to talk very earnestly about that. And I said, this is a story where the key player has no voice because they haven't entered this world yet. We'll be right back.
Sam has never cared for herself, so I fear this baby is going to be severely disabled. Her diabetes, her hormones, that is all out of control. I'm in fear that she won't even survive this pregnancy.
I fear my child will never be able to walk. I'm not going to be emotionally ready for this. I pray that there's a miracle every single day.
Well, I'm back with Christina, the mom, Samantha, the daughter, their dear and supportive friend, Ingrid, and Dr. Travis Stork. He is the host of the Emmy Award-winning show, The Doctors, and he has a New York Times best-selling book out right now that will get you ready for springtime. Travis, tell us the name of the book.
Oh, it's called The Lose Your Belly Diet.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That great book. So, Mom, where do we go from here?
I don't know. I can't take care of this child.
Where do you think you go from here?
Honestly, I don't know.
I've got two things that I want to recommend. Because right now, we have to rally around this unborn child. We have to do anything and everything we can to ensure that this mother survives this delivery, that this baby survives this delivery, and that this baby shows up in the best possible condition that is realistic.
Dr. Phil, I have done everything I possibly can for her since she's come back to me.
And your point is?
My point is at what point do I say, I can't do anymore?
Well, some things you do for a week, some things you do for a month, some things you do for a year, some things you do until. You do until. We're talking about your child here. We're talking about your grandbaby here. And Samantha, you need to become an active member of your medical team. You need to become compliant with the regimen, whatever is set up, and you need to work as hard as you possibly can for you and your baby. And I don't think you can do that by yourself. So I am willing to get you a life coach. And this is different than just a therapist, a life coach that will help you set some objectives, give you some goals acquisition training, hold you accountable, be there to see that you execute on the things that will give you and your baby the best chance at this life. Will you take that help?
I'll take it.
You'll be interested to know that I damn sure don't think you taking this child and raising it should be in your future.
Thank you.
First off, I think this child might be over your level of expertise. It's going to need more help than either one of you could give the child. And there'll be alternatives for that. But right now, you need to call a truce with your daughter, and you two need to close ranks for this baby. Next up, he's a singer, comedian, and actor who is speaking out about his struggle with a mental illness. Well, we know him as a singer, actor, comedian, and game show host. He is the multi-talented Wayne Brady. But for more than 2 decades, Wayne was battling depression completely alone. And so to discuss this serious mental illness, Pfizer's chief medical officer, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall, met up with Wayne Brady in Chicago, where he's starring in the hit musical Hamilton. Let's take a look at their very revealing conversation.
What made you tell people what you were going through, ask for help?
What made me talk about my depression was one morning, I'll never forget it. I was dropping my daughter off on a school trip. She was going away for the first time. I knew she was upset. It made me upset. It was also my 40th birthday. I had other things in the back of my mind. I'm beginning to feel lonely. I stayed in my room, going back and forth between this deep sadness and crying to being angry at myself for feeling that and not wanting to reach out. Folks were reaching out with birthday messages. I turned my phone off. So that was the day that I decided that I needed to speak out about it.
Robin Williams was somebody that you've said that you admired.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about how his death and life affected you.
I remember the morning that I heard about Robin, and that hit me like a body blow. And the thing that struck me the most is how he was found in this big house, locked in a room by himself. That's how he went. Isolated. It was the 1-2 punch of going, if the loneliness and depression can take him down, and that can happen to Robin Williams, then it can definitely happen to me.
Well, please welcome Pfizer Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall. Well, Dr. Frida, I know Wayne Brady. He is so talented and puts on a great show when he puts on the show. I'm so glad that he's talked to you about this. How big a problem is depression in men?
Wow, it's a big one. More than 6 million men suffer from depression. Now, many of them don't recognize the symptoms, acknowledge what's happening, or seek help. And of course, that's a problem. And many are reluctant to talk about this. And then, like Wayne, they suffer in silence, kind of trying to tough it out. less than half of men seek professional help for their depression.
I knew Robin Williams as well, and they can really cover this up for short periods of time. And when I was in private practice, I had people tell me they never knew they were depressed until they weren't, because they thought that was just life. What are some of the ways untreated depression can manifest itself in men?
In men in particular, it can show up as alcohol or substance abuse. They can exhibit controlling or abusive behavior, or even risky behavior like reckless driving, for example. And you just mentioned Robin Williams. One of the deadliest consequences of depression can be suicide. And although women are more likely to suffer from depression and are more likely to attempt suicide, men are more likely to die from it. In fact, the suicide rate for American men is 4 times what it is for women, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Well, is depression in men different from depression in women?
The symptoms of depression are common between men and women. Many people experience sadness and feelings of worthlessness. They no longer are interested in things that are usually pleasurable activities. They may experience apathy, fatigue, changes in appetite, and sleep disturbances. The symptoms that are used to diagnose depression are the same for men and women. They may show up differently. Men are more likely, for example, to be withdrawn or to feel irritable or aggressive or hostile, and to experience physical symptoms like experiencing pain or frequent headaches or sexual dysfunction.
Right. Well, without treatment, depression is unlikely to go away, and it may get worse. But more than 80% of people with depression do respond to medical treatment and therapy. When Wayne Brady finally got the help he needed, it changed his life. Take a look.
You shared kind of your darkest moment, but I would love to hear your.
On Dr. Phil.
I love Chris, Dr. Phil. Chris loves me.
You both love the same guy.
An obsessed love triangle.
I've been in a lot of these cat fights before. You said she's a fat lesbian whore.
Yes.
And you say she's a psycho.
Most definitely.
Aileen posted a lot of bad comments about Sandy online.
Sandy says, I am thankful for my electric blanket. Aileen responds, with all that fat, you need an electric blanket?
They both claim they're the one he loves.
You say you were engaged to Chris.
He gave me this ring. We looked at wedding dresses.
But what does he say?
Did you ask her to marry you?
Not that I can recall.
Do you have trouble being unclear?
I do sometimes.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Hold on a second.
I'm going to get you the help that you need. 5, 4, this is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Today, 2 women fighting over 1 guy. Sound like a dream come true for most men, right? But this love triangle has turned into a nightmare for him. Talking about our guest, Chris. He is caught between his ex-wife, Sandy, and his ex-girlfriend, Aileen. Now, he's not with either one of them at the moment, but says they are each obsessed with getting him back. Now, both women say they are sure that they are the one that he loves.
Chris and I were married about 3 years when our relationship started falling apart. When Chris and I divorced, our daughter and I moved out of the home.
A few months after Sandy moved out of the house, I got a roommate.
Christopher had put an ad on Craigslist. I answered it. Christopher opened the door and I said, "Oh my God, this guy is so good looking."
After about a month, Aileen and I became romantically involved.
Christopher's ex-wife, Sandy, did not like the fact that Christopher and I were dating.
Aileen and I clashed.
I thought she was a bitch. After 7 years of divorce, Sandy wanted her old husband back. Before I knew it, Christopher was trying to kick me out of the house. I want Christopher back. Christopher is the love of my life.
I want to be with Chris, and I want Chris back into my life.
I think Sandy is a crazy, crazy bitch for breaking up our relationship.
Aileen should butt out and go on with her life.
Christopher and I were engaged. I considered Christopher my fiance. Christopher gave me a diamond ring for Christmas.
I was never engaged to Aileen.
Chris gave her a ring for her 50th birthday because he felt like nobody else would get her anything.
Christopher and I had picked out wedding dresses. Christopher had his wedding tie picked out.
Aileen and I had once talked about what a nice wedding would be, but we had never actually planned one for ourselves.
I hate to break it to Aileen. Chris does not love her, and he's not in love with her.
She thinks she's in love with Christopher, and she thinks that Christopher's in love with her.
Chris loves me.
Sandy really needs to know she's not going to get away with this, and I'm not going to just disappear out of Christopher's life.
Sandy says Aileen is crazy. Will do anything just to keep Sandy away from her man, Chris. Her man, Chris. It's gotten so bad that Sandy and Chris say they've had to file a total of 9 peace orders against Aileen. Aileen admits to some harassment, but said Sandy deserves it because she's just using Chris for his money.
Chris was able to get a peace order finally against Aileen.
The peace order prevents me from having any contact with Christopher.
It does not protect me or my daughter at all. I am constantly being harassed by Aileen. Aileen contacted the university I was attending to tell them I was a druggie and alcoholic.
I never did that. I told them about the child support that she was not reporting, so she wouldn't get as much financial aid.
At my daughter's birthday party, we heard a knock on the door. It was Child Protective Services. Aileen claimed I beat my daughter.
I felt that Sandy was an unfit mother. I was just looking out for the welfare of their daughter.
Because Aileen has contacted CPS, it has caused problems with me to get a job. Aileen knows where I live. My daughter and I are in fear when it comes to Aileen.
I've driven through Sandy's apartment complex to monitor how much time Christopher spends over there.
My front door mat and my wreath was stolen. I think Aileen stole my wreath.
I live 45 minutes away from her. I'm not going to drive down to steal a wreath.
Aileen is crazy.
Sandy is delusional.
I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't try to kill us. She is that crazy.
Well, charming. I've been in a lot of these cat fights before. You know, this is not my first rodeo, so I'm really interested in seeing who is going to tell me the truth today. I know things neither one of you know I know. I have private investigators. I have staffs. I have talked to people you don't even know that I've talked to and have information from. So you lie to me, I'm going to catch you in a lie. Have you been harassing her?
I have not been around her, bothered her
Okay,
in months.
now, come on. Is this really how you want to spend your time with me?
I haven't been harassing her.
Have you been harassing her? And you say, oh,
I
listen,
harass-
I don't have, no, I don't, whoa, what, me? Ooh.
I'm
Have
saying
you
in the
been
last 2 or
harassing her?
No, I have not.
You have not been harassing her. All right, well, here's a list of harassment that Aileen admits to. She told Chris' neighbors she would kill Sandy. You admit that.
I didn't admit I was going to kill her. She was sitting in my bedroom.
Did you call the university loan office to tell them that Sandy gets child support?
Yes, I
and
did.
therefore she shouldn't be getting a loan. Is
Yes,
that
I did.
harassment?
I did that 3 years ago. Yes.
Okay, so yes. Did you call the adoption agency to get info on Sandy?
No, because I had the paperwork from the house.
Chris's documents, of course.
So you stole his documents.
They were
Why did
sitting
you
up
tell us that you called the adoption agency?
Okay, I called the adoption agency, but
Thank
their phone
you.
number.
So you called the adoption agency. Is this really how you want to spend your time, where I have to ask you things 5 times
No.
before you tell me the truth?
No.
Come on. You've called CPS 2 times to report Sandy.
Yes.
They came to her daughter's birthday party.
I didn't know when they came.
Yeah, well, that's when they came. Did you send a letter to Sandy's boyfriend in 2009
Yes,
and
I
cause
did.
him to break up?
Yes, I did.
You don't consider that harassment?
That is.
Did you cancel Sandy's birthday reservations at a restaurant?
Yes, I did.
So you knew that she had a reservation at a restaurant with Chris.
Yes.
And so you called the restaurant and said, hey, this is Sandy, I need to cancel for tonight. And they show up and they got no reservation.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get her car towed?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you ask friends that were working in the collections business to snoop into her credit?
Yes.
Did you nickname her the Queen?
Yes.
Have you called her slut, lesbian, whore, bitch, gold digger, liar, and alcoholic?
Yes.
You took photos of her at the post office.
Yes.
And then a few days ago, you filed a lawsuit against her now.
She threw all my stuff out of Christopher's
You don't know
house.
about this, but she's now sued you in small claims court.
And that's awesome because you know why? The sheriff's department was there on Victon and they actually took it out to the curb with us.
Yeah. But you filed a lawsuit, right?
Yes.
Okay. See how much faster things go when you tell the truth.
Okay.
Goes pretty well, right?
Yes, it does.
How about you? You been harassing her?
I contacted her employment to find out and let them know what she does to children because she works at a daycare location. I sent an email to her aunt to have her to stop and leave us alone. And I sent an email to her father because of her posting a check of ours with a routing account number online because of that filing.
And this is all because you both love the same guy.
I love Chris, Dr. Phil, but like I've told him, am I in love with him? No. Is he in love with me? No. Are we taking it slow? Yes. It's not just about Chris and me anymore. It's about our daughter. And our daughter is our number one concern. Do I want Chris back? Yes.
And you want to be with Chris.
Yes, I've been with him for 6.5 years.
So you sent a letter to where she works.
No, I called.
You called?
I called.
And did they tell you about that?
Yes.
And what kind of work do you do?
I work in a business office in a daycare center. And the human resource told me one day that somebody with a southern accent had called reporting that I had federal and criminal charges and that I was a child molester and that I shouldn't be working around kids and that I should be fired. I've got documentation of that. And
Well, actually, I do too. And they didn't say all of that. The letter they sent to you on 7/17 of this year said, yesterday at 3:41, I received an anonymous call at our main office number from a woman with a southern accent, as you say, asking to speak with someone in human resources. She told me that she wanted to warn us that we employed a woman who was dangerous and abusive, and that she, the caller, was concerned for the welfare of the children in our care. She then proceeded to tell me that this person had broken state and federal laws and would soon be served at work. I told her that all of our employees have a thorough criminal background check prior to their first day of work, and we will be notified if there is any problem with the law. I checked the caller ID and found out that the call came from Sandra's phone. I spoke to our employee, Aileen, and told her that threatening and personal phone calls are not permitted at work, and that she needed to make sure that we did not receive any more crank calls of this nature. So they call you in and tell you, don't you have people calling up here trashing you anymore? Okay, sorry, I'll cut back on the trash phone calls. All right, coming up, we're going to find out why Aileen created an alter ego named Claudia in order to keep tabs on her nemesis. And later, we're going to meet Mr. Wonderful. Because Chris is here, we're going to talk to him and find out how he feels about being in this crossfire. We'll be right back.
When I think about Sandy, I feel disgusted.
When I think about Aileen, I feel sorry for her.
I personally don't think she's attractive. Sandy's fat.
She's psycho.
When I think about Sandy, I feel disgusted.
When I think about Aileen, I feel sorry for her.
Sandy's a slut. Sandy has dated a serial rapist. Sandy will sleep with any man that will sleep with her.
What's important for people to know is she's psycho. Nobody wants her around.
I personally don't think she's attractive. Sandy's fat. At one point, she was living with a girl, so she might be a lesbian whore.
What Aileen needs to know is she needs to get help.
What Sandy doesn't realize is your past always catches up with you, and karma will get her.
She's fat? You're no minnow.
I know.
You said she's a fat lesbian whore.
I said that.
And you say she's a psycho.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, she even threw our wedding bench away, and me and Chris aren't even together anymore.
What's a wedding bench?
The bench that we got when we got married that was sitting outside our home.
Oh.
That's been sitting there for years. I just put it on the curb.
Well, I've been married 37 years now. I don't have a wedding bench.
You didn't put it on your wedding registry.
Oh, okay. You got to list it. So you've been with Chris for 6.5 years.
Yes.
And you two were in love.
Yes.
You say you were engaged to Chris.
Early on, in like 2008 or 9.
He gave you a ring.
He gave me this ring last year.
This ring, massive?
Yes.
This is very nice. Very nice. Now, that's an engagement ring.
He bought it for me for my 50th birthday. We're not engaged, but I think there's feelings there.
Did he say that was an engagement
No,
ring?
he did not.
Did he ask you to marry him?
Long time ago when we were engaged, yes.
Oh, you were engaged?
We were.
But he didn't ask you to marry him?
This one here, no, I'm not engaged. He bought me this ring because I wanted it, but he says that we're just friends. But I don't think friends just buy somebody a 1-carat diamond ring.
But when did he ask you to marry him?
In 2008 or 9, and then we split up. We didn't really split up. One day he just said, we're not getting married, but we continue to live together.
But you were engaged. He did ask you to marry. How did he do it?
It was just, it wasn't ever like a proposal. It was just something he wrote my dad and sent him an email one time.
Do you have a copy of that email?
He said, no, because Christopher deleted it off of the computer. He had said, you know, I would like to marry her to make her happy. We had looked at wedding dresses. We had picked out his tie. And then just one day, we're driving in the car and he's like, we're not getting married. There was no explanation, nothing. And that's something that's, you know, kind of...
That hurts.
Yeah. There was never like a formal proposal, as you say, you know. But it was just an understanding that we were going to get married.
Yeah. Because usually...
Well, usually, yeah,
there's a question.
There is a.
Because I remember when Robin asked me to marry her. Just kidding. Just kidding.
told you, honey. I didn't ask. There was never like a proposal either.
But you did wind up married.
Unfortunately,
But that's
yeah.
kind of gone downhill because now he has a protection order against you.
Yeah, he does.
Now she's pulling him away and he starts spending time with her because he wants to be with his daughter.
He tells me that he just wants to spend time with his daughter, which I didn't have a problem with, but every Wednesday he'd go eat dinner at her house and she'd be posting stuff on Facebook.
On your fake account that you're watching.
Chris and I are a family. Chris and I cuddle on the couch. Christopher calls me during the day to send me little notes to say I love you. Chris is my baby, loving my baby. I mean, every day, something different.
That just chapped your ass, right?
Yeah, I mean, every single day because I know him and Chris does not sit there and cuddle on the couch and,
Obviously, it's who he's with that he's cuddling with.
Thank you for second chances. She's calling his.
Did you harass
parents.
her on Facebook?
If she made a comment, I would make a comment back.
Oh, wait.
It's nothing inappropriate just to comment back.
Some were inappropriate. She put her inappropriate things
Did
about
you
me.
have Did you have a fake ID?
Christopher and I had made one years ago on Facebook.
So you did go on using
Yes.
a false ID so you could get
Keep track of.
friended.
When I sent her a friend, she accepted the request, and then later on,
You say
she took
that's
me
because
off.
she's desperate for any friends she can find.
At one point, she had over 1,000 friends.
Is that bad to have
Accepted.
1,000 friends?
No, but I just don't think that I just think that you don't personally know that many people. You get a request. No, it's not. But I'm just saying.
Dr. Phil,
she just
can I ask a
requested.
Well, I've got millions. Does that mean there's
'cause
something
you're-
wrong with me?
No, but you're like Dr. Phil. We're just like regular people.
Sandy says, I am thankful for my snooze button and electric blanket. So Aileen, as Claudia responds, with all that fat, you need an electric blanket?
In order to keep tabs on Sandy and I, Aileen has used several fake profiles on Facebook.
I used a fake name of somebody that she went to high school with.
Aileen posted a lot of bad comments about Sandy online.
Aileen has called me a whore, a bitch, a gold digger.
Sandy would post about how they were a couple and she was in love with Christopher and that he loves her. When I see these posts, I know that they're lies.
Okay, well, actually, that's kind of interesting. But I said I had a lot of information that y'all didn't know I had. I actually was able to go backwards and capture a lot of those exchanges between you as Claudia and you.
They're probably bad. I'm not going to deny it.
Well, here's what Sandy posted. Sandy, I am thankful for my health and everybody that stood beside me through the years when I didn't know if I would see the next day. Well, Aileen, as Claudia says, too bad you didn't drop dead.
She just posted that because she wants sympathy from other people.
I don't need sympathy.
Sandy says, I am thankful for my snooze button and electric blanket. I enjoyed sleeping in a little while longer today. Thankful for the omelet my baby made and served me in my bed. So Aileen, as Claudia responds, with all that fat, you need an electric blanket? Really?
I don't need an electric blanket, and I'm fat too, so.
And you don't have Chris sleeping in your bed any longer either, do you?
Oh, and you do?
Many nights a week.
Well, I hope he gets tested.
Sandy says, dinner is served, and puts a picture of dinner. Aileen, as Claudia says, you cooked this last time. Pasta, biscuits, meat, green beans, no variety. No wonder you're so blinking fat. Sandy, having dinner with the in-laws and loving our family. Aileen, as Claudia says, bitch, you are divorced. They are not your in-laws. So Sandy Post ordered our dog Caesar his Christmas outfit for pictures so he will match everyone. Love my doggy. Aileen Post, you dumb bitch. Why do you continue to lie? You walked that dog like once. Sandy says, with my wonderful daughter and Chris, we discussed all we're thankful for, and my daughter said she was thankful for parents that love her and having our family back together. That means a lot to us both. Aileen, as Claudia says, so sorry that her family getting back together will be short-lived. Your daughter has had so much turmoil in her life, no wonder she has so many issues.
She has had turmoil in her life.
She's also adopted, and I kept mine. You didn't have yours.
Sandy says the best thing in life is finding someone who knows all your flaws, mistakes, weaknesses, and still thinks you're completely amazing. Aileen, as Claudia says, OMG, this is so funny. You have a bunch of flaws. You're fat. Your blank smells like dead fish. You're a cheater, and your biggest mistake was moving here, but that won't last long, and you're amazing in your own mind. You're blank. Really?
Christopher told me that.
Very classy.
Okay, that wasn't one of my classroom
For a
moments.
50-year-old lady, that means a lot, right?
I'm sure everyone is dying to know what is so great about this guy, Chris. Does he have some magic elixir or powers that have put a spell on these two women? So I'm going to bring him out here, but you can't be here because there's a no contact order by the court. You can't be in contact with him.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have you go off.
Okay.
And we're going to put you in the green room with full monitor. You'll be able to see everything. You'll be able to hear everything. You'll be able to talk, but you're going to need to talk to me.
Okay.
You can't talk to him.
Okay.
So I'm going to move people and furniture and cameras and do everything I can to stay within the spirit of this agreement. We'll be right back.
I want Chris back into my life.
And I don't really consider us a romantic couple.
I am hoping that Christopher and I will work towards getting married someday.
Aileen can't understand that I don't love her anymore.
I want Chris back into my life. Chris will spend the night with us. He will have dinner with us, but we are not having sex. And we will not until the time is right.
And I don't really consider us a romantic couple. If we didn't share a daughter together, I don't think that Sandy and I would have a relationship.
Chris and I are very happy, and we have a family.
I miss Christopher every day. I feel that Christopher, in his own way, he does love me. I mean, there's feelings there. They may be buried. I mean, every couple goes through ups and downs.
Aileen can't understand that I don't love her anymore.
I am hoping that Christopher and I will work towards getting married someday.
I do not want a romantic relationship with Aileen because of the problems. We really can't even be friends.
I think Christopher needs to see that I've changed and that I deserve a second chance.
At this point, I need for Aileen to move on and out of my life. The most important thing to me is to be a good parent and focus on what's in the best interest of my family.
Well, we've been talking about Chris, but he is here. So Chris, come on out and join us. How you doing? Good to meet you. Have a seat right here if you would. In accordance with the protection order that you filed with the court, you were listening before, Aileen is not out here. She is watching this. Why are you in this mess? This is like a tug of war and you're the rope.
It's complicated. The best way to explain it is it's really progressed. And there were signs that, I should have done something differently a while ago.
How did you and Sandy meet? You two met, you were married how long? How many years?
We got married in 01 and divorced 08.
Okay, so
Seven.
you're 7 years. And how did y'all meet?
Online.
And then how did you meet Aileen?
I was looking for a roommate after Sandy left. I had posted some things.
You met her and then she moved in, but it wasn't a romantic thing until later.
It was fairly soon. It wasn't
Like 30 days, a week, 20 minutes?
Less. What I'll say is less than 30 days.
Did you ask her to marry you?
I have not, and
You never asked her to marry you?
not that I can recall.
Did you go
that-
pick out her wedding dress with her?
I remember looking. I don't remember the reason. It was not to plan a wedding.
Aileen, you wanted to say something?
We had planned to have the wedding in South Carolina, if he recalls that. Because we were supposed to get married June 26th, 2010.
Okay.
And the daisy tie, that was for the wedding.
But that was, I believe that she kind of prompted this, and we just discussed, if we do this at some point, what would we like? What are our
Do you have trouble
preferences?
being unclear with people?
I do sometimes.
Because you sound like you're being unclear now.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking you some questions that really aren't essay questions, but
Right.
I'm getting a lot of essay answers.
She was looking at these things, and what do you think of this? When if you were to get married, would this be nice? And
You, at this point, Aileen, you want to marry Chris.
That would be my ultimate goal, but I don't see that as happening. I would just like to be in his life.
Did I not tell you that y'all could be friends, but she would not be near my daughter? Did I not?
No, you did not.
I did. You were not in my house. You have no clue.
Do you want your daughter around Aileen?
no, I don't.
Why not?
Her intentions just to hurt several people, and my daughter may not be the direct target, but she takes a lot of the emotional brunt of everything that happens. Because things that hurt us really hurt her.
So this is hurting your daughter.
Yes.
And so you think Aileen is causing pain to your daughter, unquestionably.
Yes.
How do you feel about that, Aileen? They're both saying that you are causing pain to their child.
Okay, I don't mean to cause pain to their daughter. She has told their daughter over and over what kind of bad person I am. Sandy has gone as far as contacting my ex-husband and get information from his wife about what happened with my divorce. That is none of her business.
I think we should talk about that a little bit. There's more to this story when we come back.
Chris and I are not the only ones that's been harassed by Aileen. After Aileen and her ex-husband divorced, he got back with his childhood sweetheart, Francina. Aileen did not like this at all.
I have nothing to hide, and Sandy's just looking for dirt on me. I was furious with Christopher for wanting me to move out. I was going to make his life a living hell.
Aileen lost her mind and started doing crazy things.
I took all the door handles off, every single door.
Aileen told the neighbor that she was going to kill me.
I would leave all the lights on in the house. I would run the water.
Aileen would send text messages to Chris. I am flooding your house. I hope you don't care.
My house felt like a war zone.
Well, that was just a small list of things Chris and Sandy say Aileen has done to get revenge. Now, Aileen admits to a lot of it, and Sandy says she is sick of being harassed by this woman. But the truth is, Sandy is not the only one who says Aileen has crazy behavior. Aileen's ex-husband's current wife, Francina, says she went through the exact torture Sandy is going through now. Take a look.
Chris and I are not the only ones that's been harassed by Aileen. Aileen has done this before to her ex-husband and his wife. After Aileen and David divorced, he got back with his childhood sweetheart, Francina. Aileen did not like this at all. Aileen started calling him fake Child Protective Services reports on Francina.
Francina became friends with Sandy because Sandy tried to get information about me and my past.
Francina and I have become friends because we feel like we're going through the same thing with Aileen. Aileen has stopped harassing Francina because she now has Chris and I to harass. Francina has told me that Aileen will continue to stalk and bother me until she finds a new target. I am in fear that until she does find a new target, that she will make my life a living hell.
I have nothing to hide, and Sandy's just looking for dirt on me.
Well, Aileen, what's your response to that? I mean, is that true? Did you harass that woman the way you've admitted harassing this one?
The resentment I have towards Francina is if I'd call to try to talk to my daughters, she would be like, they're not home, you know.
Did you ruin their credit by ordering a bunch of stuff in their name?
I didn't ruin their credit.
Did you order a bunch of stuff in their name?
I didn't order a bunch of stuff. I ordered pizzas and magazines.
Pizzas and magazines. Well, it's interesting. I'm looking at the Twitter feed up here and seeing what our viewers at home are saying. Vicki Whitworth says, "Wake up, people. This child deserves better role models. None of you are 13. Helen Lusk, 1957, says, "For someone who is such a smooth talker, he's sure stuttering around." Fifi Flea says, "There's a lot of denial and deception going on here. This man has been playing both women, and he should admit it." They think you're being unclear, apparently. And you said sometimes you are less than clear.
Yeah.
This is a great time for clarity.
Okay.
Are you interested in reconciling with Sandy?
I believe as far as
Get to the point.
as far as, you know, just being very close and co-parenting together, we already have. We're doing that. Have I decided, you know, yes or no that I definitely want a romantic relationship? I have not. And so if I'm not certain, the answer is going to be no.
But that's something we had both agreed on, that we're happy. Do we love each other? Yes. Are we in love? No. But do we want to be the parents that our child needs? Yes.
I'd like to state my opinion on this. I've been accused of lying and accused of playing them, and I'd like to know how it is that I'm doing this. And I've never suggested to anyone that, you know, I'm a smooth type of character.
Well, that's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. That's a question, but I will answer it after the break.
I'd like to know.
I'll answer it, yeah.
My family and I are living in fear of Aileen. One of my greatest fears is that Aileen won't get over the situation. And I am afraid that she might escalate her behavior and things could even get worse.
When someone is crazy, you never know what they will do next.
Everybody thinks I'm the bad person. All I try to do is try to keep my relationship together. And I think she's just flat out crazy. I hope Dr. Phil thinks she's crazy. And I hope he tells her that.
Well, Sandy and Aileen say they both love Chris. They both want him back. But what does he want? Let's start with Aileen. Do you hope for, look for, or entertain the possibility of a reconciliation with Aileen?
No, I don't think that would be, there'd be any reason for
Would
doing
you
that.
like to go to couples therapy with Aileen and work on this and try to see if there's a basis here for a relationship?
No. I think that my children are, you know, in fear of her and have been violated, and she's crossed the line.
Oh, the only reason that his daughter is in fear of me is because of what Sandy has told her.
You said earlier, I hope Dr. Phil tells Sandy that she's crazy. You said, I think she is. I hope he tells her that. What would be your basis? What would you think I would support that diagnosis on?
She met Christopher. She got gastric bypass surgery.
Right.
She got him to adopt her a child because she couldn't have a child.
Right.
She got LASIK.
Okay.
She cheated on him twice. She left once. He took her back. A couple months later, she cheated on him again.
All right, so you made a good list there. How is LASIK crazy? Getting
Well,
LASIK?
it's not. I'm just saying her behavior over the years. And
Okay, well, but you listed what those behaviors were that you wanted me to base a diagnosis of her being deranged on. And on that list, you had that she got LASIK.
Well, no, not LASIK, but her posts on Facebook about Chris and I are together, Chris and I are a family, my in-laws, they're divorced. I mean, in her mind, if you go back and look at all her Facebook posts, she makes it sound like they're a family, she's not like what she's presenting now. Chris and I are just trying to raise a child together. So
In what way is gastric bypass crazy?
that is not a crazy issue. Just
Okay, so we could take LASIK and gastric bypass
yeah, you
off.
could
of it.
take those off.
So basically, what we're down to is you think she is delusional about the status of her relationship
Yes,
with Chris.
Yes, that is very delusional. Mhm.
And that she uses social media platforms to antagonize you by presenting things as other than they are.
Correct.
Would that be a fair summary?
That would be a fair summary. And she lies a lot.
And
I
she's a
mean,
liar and a thief
Yep.
and a cheater. You forgot that she dated a serial rapist.
She did. She did do that. Christopher can verify that.
These would seem to be relationship issues, not issues that Aileen should burden herself with.
Correct.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to try to sort this out and make some sense, and then we're done. Chris, is there any equivocation, ambiguity whatsoever about whether or not you want to re-engage and have a relationship with Aileen?
No, I've decided that's not possible.
You see no wiggle room here whatsoever?
No.
Do you want to continue a relationship with Sandy?
I like the relationship that we have.
Aileen, what do you think about what is being said here?
At this point, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I had thought maybe he was open to something. Marriage wouldn't even be in the picture. I just was looking for if we could be friends.
I think this. I think, Aileen, that you have a problem with boundaries. I think you have trouble letting go once you get invested, and I think you hang on with real desperation sometimes. And I think that you need some help with that. And I am offering to get you some help with this so you have an opportunity to sort out your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs. And at that point, you may look at this a whole lot differently. Will you allow me to make that gift to you?
Yes.
Because you're certainly not getting anywhere the way you are, right? I mean, people are running away from you, not towards you.
Dr. Phil, may I say something?
No, you may not say anything. I'm having a conversation with this woman about her life. It's totally inappropriate for you to interject. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you for that.
That wasn't the gift I was offering. The
No,
gift
but
I was offering.
No, but I'm just saying, it's somebody that finally has told her to be quiet while they're trying to talk,
Yeah.
because that's never happened.
Okay, well, now it's happened. Thanks for being here today. You go to drphil.com for more.